My Little Planetside Part 4, Zervon Amp Station. Applejack destroyed another tank with her Shrike. The Prowlers just kept coming, but the new conglomerate would not falter. Along with freedom came the freedom to hold tiny outposts in the middle of nowhere. So that was what the forces there decided to do. Natural choke points funneled the Prowlers and Sunderers into death traps that were watched by heavy assaults. Truly, Palos Solar Array was a fortress in disguise. Hoo-wee! Pinkie, how many certs you got? Oh my gosh, we're rich! I already have like a kermillion certs! I'm no math wizard, but I don't think that's a real number. Of course it is! It's 10 wazillions! Applejack took the smart way out and stopped questioning the pink pony. She checked her map for potential targets, focal points of enemy armor. Plenty to the east as usual. The proximity of Sarva Biolab made it easy for the Equestrian Republic to resupply, but no amount of tanks could pierce the stalwart defense of Araxis freedom fighters. Applejack looked up in the chat and noticed a peculiar player said something strange. Let's daring do this. Soldiers of the Equestrian Republic, fear not. Today the skies rain death. Loyalty till harmony, attack. Applejack wondered why such a person said something so strange. Then she wondered what the windy noise was, and then she wondered why the sun was no longer touched the ground, then she wondered where all of her health went, then she wondered why her screen was filled with white and yellow explosions, then she wondered why nobody noticed the massive swarm of liberators and mosquitoes flying towards them earlier. She then wondered where to spawn. Applejack, what just happened? I think Rainbow Dash called a fleet of planes to push us out. Pinkie didn't say much after that, or anything at all. Applejack decided to leave her be, but noticed Pinkie spawn a tar-rich tech plant. She decided to follow her to see if she could find whatever the confectioner was going to. Pinkie ran to the main facility and took a teleporter to the turret level, and spawned a Galaxy dropship. AJ, get in. We're gonna go fly swatting. As they neared the facility in the desert, Pinkie introduced the Galaxy to a swarm of mosquitoes in the most sensible way imaginable, by ramming full speed into 3 of them. Applejack hopped in between turrets and opened fire, taking down 2 more before anything could react. 2 mosquitoes opened fire with rocket pods from both sides, forcing Pinkie to drop down. Conveniently, though, the enemy pilots couldn't really aim down fast enough and destroyed each other. A burster alicorn opened fire, pelting the belly of the plane with flak. Pinkie completely disabled the vertical thrust, sending the Galaxy falling downwards. The alicorn realized too what her late plan was, before getting hit by the Galaxy's armored hull and crushed into the ground. Before she could even get airborne again, a Prowler opened fire on the temporarily landed Galaxy. Pinkie rose into the sky again and dived straight downwards toward the tank. Both Earth ponies ejected as the dropship collided straight into the tank and exploded, killing the equestrian gunners inside. They ran over for cover behind a coral formation and noticed a convoy of Sunderers coming up the road. C4 detonators emerged beneath wicked grins. Rainbow Dash sat bored at the Sunderer she was sitting in, slowly reaching its destination. Fluttershy, can't these things go any faster? Dash, the driver said they had full racer chassis. Why didn't we just fly there? I heard there was too much anti-air. Rainbow groaned. It was going to be a boring... Applejack and Pinkie Pie laughed their tails off at the burning wreckage formerly known as 3 Sunderers. Among the flashing list of dead equestrians was none other than Let's Daring Do This and Butterfly 120. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. Yee-haw! Today is a good day to die! The Earth ponies turned around to find the twin barrels of a Prowler staring them in the face. I guess I spoke too soon. AJ and Pinkie emerged on opposite sides of the main spawn room. They returned to the warp gate and found the NC amassing. Liberators hovered overhead as bored Reaver pilots did flips into the air and landed on each other. Sailin, departing to engage ER Air Zerg in 2 minutes. Y'all want to go with them? Pinkie gasped audibly. Oh my gosh, I never thought you'd ask! Applejack approached the air terminal and a 3D model of a Reaver appeared in the holographic display. She saw the upgraded reload speed of her Vortec rotary before pushing her hoof through the screen's spawn button. The nanites making up her character dissolved before reassembling inside the body of a Reaver, halfway across the warp gate. She checked all within the systems. Forward thrusters active, vertical thrusters ready, wing flaps responding, afterburner primed, rotary cannon loaded, A2A missiles connected, and the fire suppression available. On the other side of the warp gates, Pinkie's Reaver assembled and immediately started doing backflips. Whee! She exclaimed. The planes assembled began to lift off and move through the canyons. Applejack followed behind as they swerved in between the rocks. far to the north, a massive cloud of aircraft began rendering. One could describe the clump of mosquitoes as a swarm, if they were feeling symbolic. Any NC and Zervan amp station below were cowering in buildings as the ground outside was glassed by explosives raining from above. The NC Liberators raised out the canyons as the Reavers below surged forward. AJ slammed her afterburner and rapidly accelerated with them, the mosquitoes slowly turning and began engaging. Nose guns opened fire as the two fleets entered the dogfight of a lifetime. The farm pony banked hard to the right and started tailing the mosquito. The distracted pilot stood no chance against a direct burst from a Reaver and exploded into pieces. Bullets zoomed over her cockpit as another equestrian opened fire, and a few hit her rear. Applejack slammed her air brakes and spun around, facing the other plane head-on. She activated her vertical thrusters and flew over the other player. She rained rotary rounds from above, quickly dispatching the equestrian. Pinkie was being chased by 5 different mosquitoes as her flak armor absorbed a few shots that actually landed. She had already made 4 pilots crash into each other in an attempt to follow the crazy mare. Pinkie turned off her thrusters and dropped rapidly as a mosquito tried to ram her head-on, only to miss completely and instead smash into another one behind her. Make that 6 pilots. Applejack pulled out of the intense dogfight and set her sights on an ER Liberator. Her Vortec rounds essentially pinged off its armor, barely making a scratch into the heavy plating. She swapped to her A2A missiles and began locking onto the bomber, before releasing a guided missile in its direction. The rocket smashed into the hull and tore a fin off, forcing the Liberator to readjust. A second missile blew the whole wing off and sent the gunship spinning towards the ground. The equestrians bailed in a desperate attempt to survive the crash, but impacted the ground and died immediately, giving Applejack 2 more kills. Almost immediately, another mosquito shot by her, placing some new bullet holes in her cockpit windshield. AJ flipped and rotated to face her opponent, who had done the same. She spotted the pilot, whose name appeared on her heads-up display. Let's daring do this. Rainbow Dash. Immediately, the 2 rivals opened fire, ascending and descending in an attempt to make their opponent miss. The farm pony rolled, banked, and dropped, but couldn't shake the Pegasus. Rainbow proved to be the better pilot. She was nearly undamaged, while Applejack's Reaver was smoking from the hits she'd taken. As her fuselage lit on fire, Applejack knew she had only one option left. She leveled out her thrusters and slammed on the afterburner, shooting forward. And Rainbow put in the last few shots and exploded the Reaver, realizing only too late what her plan was. Before she could dodge, the charred wreckage of Applejack's fighters smashed into Rainbow's, sending the remains of both planes hurtling towards their axis. Applejack and Pinkie Pie logged off, laughing at the destruction they had caused to the Equestrian Republic. I wish I could have seen the look on Dash's face.
I bet she was as mad as a scientist, which makes me wonder, why aren't there ever any happy scientists? You know, maybe I should be the Equestria's first happy scientist.
Whatever you say, Pinkie. As the farm pony closed the game, a message appeared on her loading screen. Game Update 1, coming soon. New weapons, balance passes, map updates, and an entire new vehicle. See you on Araxis, soldier.